I believe you're learning, you're growing as we get challenged. As women, sometimes we learn better from each other. Men may tell us things, yes, and we respect them and we honor them. But as women, there are times that you just hear something from another woman and it clicks. It gives you hope. It gives you direction, it gives you encouragement. So I pray that's what God is using this program to do to you. And so thank you for making time to join us. If you've missed any episode that you want to watch and rewatch, you can go on YouTube at Elevate TV Kenya and just look for SISTA Talk. So you are in the right place. So today, we are handling an amazing topic, something that I think all of us need to hear more of and stop, creating our own impression of it. We need to understand from someone who has walked the journey. And we have with us an amazing woman of God. Wow, I honor this lady. I think I have seen that journey and I'm like, no, this one we need to talk about. So I just want us to discuss today with our wonderful guest. She is Pauline Wawira. Welcome. It is so nice to have you. I'd like you to introduce yourself so I don't mess it up.
Okay. So should I look there?
Yes, please.
All right. So Pauline Wawira Gikana. I'm born again. I'm married and a mother of 2. Been married for now 15 years.
What?
Yes.
Already? Okay.
Yeah, I exist too. That is very important to know my purpose in this world. So I exist to work with people in their struggles, depending on what. So I'm a therapist by profession. I'm also a certified mediator. So helping people to, to understand each other and walk along conflicts in peace. And I'm a peace ambassador, and especially this time you're talking a lot of peace issues. Yeah, so that is what I do. And that's who I am. Wow. It's nice to be here.
Oh, it's nice to have you.
Thank
I'm just wondering, the peace mediator and some careers, were they even there, years back? God is just continuing to equip us, with things that help us.
Yeah.
How has your journey, been as you were dreaming of getting married and being a mother? How was that? How did that look? What was the perfect picture that Pauline had of herself?
Wow, it's interesting because maybe I need to say I'm a therapist and mostly I dwell with marriages. So marriage and family therapy. Yeah, people who are yet to get married and those who are married. So mainly that's my focus in the office.
And how did you get there?
And how did I get there? It's interesting because when I was young, even in my high school days, I really wanted to get married. I really admired my mom and dad. My dad was a pastor.
Oh, really?
And I was brought up in the village, but my dad was very affectionate. He used to hold my mom in front of us, tell her that he loved her.
Oh, really?
Yes, in the village.
Like them days.
Yes. So I used to say, God, I want to get. So I must say, I grew up in a stable family, a Christian home. And so I desired marriage from a very tender age, from a very young age. Like one day, God, and I used to say things like, one day I want to be talking about marriage.
Look at you.
So it was very interesting.
Wow.
And look at it. That's what I do today. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you had this perfect picture of marriage, wanted to have 10 kids, everyone has.
It's interesting. It's amazing how I didn't think about kids. I probably used to think about 2 or 3.
Okay.
But I was very keen on having a companion.
Okay.
My dad passed on when I was 20. I really wanted him to be there when I was getting married because he really used to tell me about marriage, taught us about sex with my brothers.
Wow.
He taught us about all those things.
Well done, Daddy.
I know. So I used to pray for him because he was unwell for quite some time. And I used to say, God, keep him. I want him to walk me down the aisle. So there was a lot of marriage thing in my mind. You see, I was praying for him so that God keeps him, but God took him home. So yeah, but I really thank God. In the process of waiting to get married, I got into a relationship for 3 years. And it didn't end, rather just 6 months to our wedding. The gentleman, we were for coffee one day and he told me he wants us to terminate our relationship. I was like, God, I have been praying that one day I'll talk about, you give me a relationship with this guy who loves the Lord and we have done, ministry together, and he tells me he's not going to marry me. I didn't understand that. So I went through a broken engagement very near to us, getting
dowry paid.
No, it was now the introduction and all. I had gone to their home. We had set a date. We had gone to the church where we wanted to have our wedding. So it was very advanced advanced. I mean, it was at the
Ooh.
well, I went through that, and then of course I continued trusting God to get married one day. It took quite some time.
But before that, take us back, because what you've said is interesting there. So you have this ideal picture of marriage. Your father has even been speaking to you about it, and you meet someone, and did you see any signs of them pulling out?
I did not see signs.
How now?
But I did not see signs. I remember we even went to pray and fast for our wedding and our marriage. Just a year now we wanted to. So I never saw.
Okay.
And but there's one memory verse. It's not a memory verse. It's something we read in the Daily Bread. We used to do the devotion at home. And there's something that stuck with me, that disappointments may be God's appointment.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was with me from early on. So when he told me that, and one of the things I was very keen about, even today, is God's will over my life. So I always used to say, so God, I would love this, but above all, may your will be done.
Yes.
So he came up with a decision, or he said it wasn't the will of God, because I asked him, I met him after a week. I said, no, we have to meet and part well. And he said that it wasn't the will of God. And I was like, but okay, so God said it to you, never said it to me. Oh, okay. So, but you see, I had said God's will to be done.
Yes.
So I remember when I went home to tell my mom that, there's no relationship anymore, and my relatives, because they were waiting for the main function now of the dowry and the big thing before now. I remember my mom was very cross. I was sad for her daughter. You know, like why? They liked him a lot. But I remember telling him, Mom, I'm sure even he must have had a lot of courage to come and tell me, because we've had a healthy relationship.
Oh, wow.
So at times, it might be the one person who will know, but I credit it to him that he came and told me. By the way, I did not have any, of course I felt bad. I wanted to get married. But then I always say, it is not a sin for someone to come and tell you they will not marry you.
It's good to be honest. Yeah.
So for that, I respected him.
That's a good way of looking at it.
And I remember telling my mom, even as you pray for me, pray for him. I know it's not easy. Every of our friends knew we were dating. Yeah. So now everybody is hearing we've broken up. So I took it. I said, okay, God, if then it's not your will, that's fine. So I went back to is it drawing board?
Whatever it is we draw there, but
stood with my friends, went to their wedding committees. I remember telling God, so when is my turn? You know? And I remember one day I knelt in my house, and I remember telling God, now when I had waited, now it was already 4 years after. I'm like, so when? So of course I had a counterfeit in between, because it's counterfeits come.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. I was very clear on my non-negotiables. So that's very important. There are things that I had said, as much as I want to get married, there are things I will not bend, So I did meet along the way, but then I kept going. So I remember telling the Lord, God, if you decide that I'll never get married, it's okay. One thing I want you to know, God, I'll still love you. And I meant it, and I surrendered, completely. And I think a few months after that, I met my husband through a mutual friend. Actually, they later became our best couple. She used to work with him. Then they said, oh, let's meet for lunch. That's how it was interesting, because exactly 1 year after meeting my husband, 13 months to be precise, in the 13 months, meeting him for the first time, he said, I remember him saying he loves my cheeks, and if it is the will of God, he wants to marry me. And he never wasted time, by the way.
He loves my cheeks.
He took me to his parents, he came to my mother, he said, he never had someone saying on his behalf, he said, I love your daughter. I would love. So within 13 months was our wedding. So it's not the time, it's not how long you date.
Yes, that's true.
But I was very sure now this is it. 15 years later, without a shadow of doubt,
you're sure.
I know that disappointment was God's appointment.
You got it.
And not because he was a bad man, but he was not destined for you. And I know my husband, was created for me. That I know. Yeah.
Boss, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I just love the way already you have ministered, I'm sure, to one or two of us who are, struggling and wondering, will we ever get married? Or maybe you've broken up with someone and you're thinking, hi, how again will this ever work? So thank you for that.
Yeah.
But now we want to go into your marriage now.
Yes.
And we're having this, amazing husband who was set, clearly.
Yeah.
He was set from get-go. I guess the chicks worked for him. And you go in, and I guess now you begin to have the conversation of children, or not yet? Or where does it start? Did you decide we'll wait for 2 years and then get children, or wait for 4? What was your journey like?
Okay. We decided, we really talked about everything before we got married. So I remember about children, we said we'd love 3 children.
Okay.
I was like, for me, sex, whichever sex the Lord gives us.
Yeah.
My husband was very specific. He loves girls. He always said he would love God to give us 3 girls.
Okay.
So I said, I'm open, whoever the Lord gives us. But the third child that we had wanted, we were also very specific. We wanted 2 biological and 1 adopted child. That was when we were dating.
Wow.
So it was interesting because he said, I would love to adopt one day. So I said the same. So we're like, okay. So of course we knew, but we just kept it there. We know we are going to adopt, but after having our 2 biological children.
Yes.
So we talked about that. We talked about many things. My husband also said he'd love to homeschool our children when we have our children.
Yes.
Okay, that's when I didn't really understand. My husband loves movies, so I first thought, this guy is watching too many movies. Now, what is homeschooling? But then, of course, I okay, fine, let's get there. I'll understand. So we talked about that. So about children, yes, that's what we talked about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Biological children if God allows, and then 1 adopted.
Yeah.
So you didn't introduce the idea to any other, like you were telling him as if it's something he also was thinking about?
Yeah, it's interesting because we both would have wanted.
Wow.
It's like God prepared us. I don't know what to say because we both were okay with it. And also we had decided we're not going to wait. You see, the way someone can say, let's 1 year at we jivinjari.
Yeah.
We did not have that because remember we were married. We were married at a point where we didn't think we need to wait. Let's just have our children. We're of good age. We are mature already.
Great.
Well, even him, by the way, he was dumped. Did I say that?
No,
he was dumped. Anyway, we came together. So, we get married at that time. We just want to settle.
Yeah.
So we wanted a baby immediately.
Wow. So you get in and you're supposed to be pregnant.
So I'm supposed to be pregnant.
Yeah.
So after a month, I get my periods. So I remember Googling, can you get your periods when you're pregnant? You Google everything. Because I'm pregnant. And I'm saying, okay, yeah, there's a possibility. There are people who get period when they are
pregnant.
So I'm like, then I'm pregnant. But then, of course, it continued a normal cycle. And of course, so we are not pregnant. So a whole year goes. So I kept getting my periods. And did we go to the hospital within the first year? I think we did at some point, maybe 8 months. And the doctor said they are never worried for a newlywed before a year is over. Okay. So we continued. So after a year, we went back to hospital and we were checked. We both went. So the gyna, I think we first saw one gyna, we never connected. Then we saw another one who has been my gyna. So of course he did both of us the tests we need to do for fertility and psycho and everything. And I remember I was diagnosed with a they call it a polycystic ovarian syndrome. So they don't know when you ovulate, so many things. So I was like, okay, so what's this? I remember my mom telling me, when you get married, you discover so many things because you're not keen before. Why do I need to know all this? Anyway, so I was put on, and of course that's one, it causes, it can cause you not to be it causes pregnant. Infertility.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I started on fertility treatment. And my husband wasn't very keen on it. He was very sure if it's if God wants to give us a baby, he can
will.
give us a baby.
Wow.
My husband is a Sunday school teacher, and I used to, you don't want children. He was like, but God can give us children when he wants. If he doesn't think we are ready, it's okay, and we are fine. He kept telling me, we are okay. We are a family, you know. So it wasn't, but then I thought, no, let's do this. So we would go. I remember he even told the doctor one day, even give me medicine. Do not take medicine alone. When it's our baby, it's our baby, you know. And anyway, so second year came, passed, still on treatment. Third year came, still on treatment. Now, towards the end of the third year, towards now our fourth, the doctor said that I couldn't. At one point, the doctor said, now, we have to probably now do IVF because it's not working. And many people, of course, go through that journey. It's a very lonely journey because many people don't understand it. So, of course, some people, when you guys are not having babies, you know, kwani. So we said, even our parents would pray like verbally when we are there, bless them with children. So I remember my husband telling me one day, let's go. I want to tell your mom that we are fine. Because he thought my mom might be worried. My daughter might not be happy. You see, and he went and told mom, we are fine, mom. All you can do is pray for us. We are trusting God for a baby. Told our in-laws. So we, of course, also had friends. We got to know some who had walked the journey. We walked with them. So the journey continued. So now, miraculously, after being told I couldn't have unless we went through IVF, I remember being woken up very early and I had a voice, do a pregnancy test. And I took it. We had too many kids. When you're walking this journey, you have kids in
you
the
have
house.
Equipment.
Yeah, after when I said, we will not check again. But I had. So I did. It came to 2. It was pregnant. I went waking up my husband. Hey, see, I'm pregnant. And he said, wait. He went for a camera. Took a photo. Then I'm like, maybe it's expired. So we are like, it was Sunday morning. So we're like, we just go to church first, then we go to hospital. So we went to church. I remember during worship, I remember God had ministered to me during our worship time and our time that God would remember us. So it was just a matter of time. We didn't know when. So he reminded me that I have remembered you. So when we came out from church, we went to hospital, asked for a blood test. Long story short, I was pregnant. It was very interesting. Now, just before that, after being told we couldn't have a baby, we said, why don't we now adopt a baby? Maybe our way is not working, you know. Maybe let's adopt. So we took like 2 months after that discussion. Actually, I remember my husband traveled and he said I travel with him because he didn't want to leave me because of having been told those news that we could not now have a child. He said, no, we're going to go with you. So I traveled with him. So when we came back is when I conceived. It's interesting that someone thought we went abroad for treatment. But let me tell you the interesting thing. We didn't remember we wanted to be pregnant when we were abroad. That's the interesting thing. You know the way you can say, let's look for a specialist. Now that these people are more medically, we did not remember. We remembered when we came back. So it's interesting. God did it by himself. So I got pregnant. Of course, a lot of treatment. I was on bed rest at some point early. So the baby came.
Hold it. Right there. The baby came.
Yes.
We need to hear this story even better. If you're just joining us, this is SISTA Talk, and my name is Nenoh Ndiema. I'm smiling because the point at which this story has we've put a hold on it is so interesting. How God works, how God does his things it's just out of this world. The thing I think I'm admiring as you speak is how you don't look like you are overwhelmed in the waiting, but you'll tell us a bit more about that. The thing I want us to discuss just before the break, just before we go on break, now that you had thought of adopting and then now you're pregnant, did you did you start any process of adoption? Just give us a hint. Did you start the process of looking for a child, or did you just leave that alone and got pregnant and then we'll go on a break and then you come and now tell us, baby came, did you ever adopt, did you not? But welcome. This is Sister Talk, and the topic is adoption. We are talking about adoption. We want to see how, when, where, why. Why would we even do such a thing, and how do we go about it? Yeah. So maybe you can tell us, did you ever start that process?
So we talked about it, but like I said, we talked about it, then you said, oh, maybe we can start. Then we stopped. And then I think my husband now was planning to do, I think work came in a lot.
Yeah.
So we started now planning to travel fast.
Okay.
When we came back, I think it was a span of 2 or 3 months. I don't remember. We are still talking about it. Maybe we can, start researching. We started maybe researching.
Okay.
But we didn't actualize that time.
Okay.
The action of, now let's do it now.
Of starting the process.
Yeah. But we now said, let's start it. Okay. So I guess we decided, let's go then come back and start it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just give us a hint, because I'm feeling like that journey was just too easy for you. I could be wrong. Did you ever stress? Did you ever, because your husband sounds a bit more encouraging in this one. Yeah. Did you ever stress? Did you ever worry? Did it ever bother you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, Hillel. If there's something I talk about a lot, is God's grace. I really, you know the way the Bible says, my grace is sufficient. Yeah. And when you're in his will, there are days I wanted to pinch myself. Am I okay? Why ain't I worrying? You know? In fact, I got to a point, I wanted a baby for my husband. Like, for him. Like, because I'll tell you, and I'll tell you for a fact.
Wow.
Even when our friends got children, I remember we would pray. Wow. Like someone sends us a message, oh, we are pregnant. We'll talk about it with my husband. How does it make you feel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I wish it was us, but it's them. Let's be happy for them. So we would pray for strength. Wow. Even when we are going to see the baby, we would pray when leaving the house. Wow. God, we want to be happy for our friends. Wow. Help us to celebrate. Yes. Then we'd go Biashara Street, buy clothes for the baby, go see the baby, and we'd be happy. Wow. Like, God's grace it carried us through. I'll not tell you I had, honestly, like I felt like I desired, but the grace, I don't know how to
I get you.
It's interesting.
It didn't overwhelm you.
It did not we knew so much.
Wow.
There's something within us, deep within conviction, because we knew our foundation in our marriage was God.
Yes.
You see, and then also, again, I guess, with the fact that we never had taken a contraceptive.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, we did not take.
Yeah.
Because you were getting baby immediately.
Yeah.
If there's anything even about my system, I knew the system I had was the one God created. Amen. I have not put anything in the system. So the grace, let me say the grace.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Hold it right there. Yeah. I mean, I feel like every mother should just watch this. You know, a mother who's trusting God for a child. Someone who's feeling down and out and is feeling like, oh God, when will I ever get a child? There is so much hope.
Yeah.
Our family is already complete as long as it's a husband and a wife.
Completely. My husband
it's already complete. And I think that's the thing we're taking home from your story. Before the babies come, they don't come to complete this marriage.
If you're not complete, then even the baby won't complete you.
We need to go on a short break. We will be back, but our topic today is adoption. We're talking to Pauline Wawira, and she's telling us amazing things, how God can literally carry you through and give you solutions and give you peace and give you joy and even give you surprise babies. So we'll be right back right after the break.
The Animal Kingdom.
My name is Apostle David Juma. This is Equip.
A man shows preparation to receive by exercising intentionality in giving.
Umepigwa vita, mwili imepigwa, imekaa umevunjwa like unasikia umevunjwa, yani hata kijaribu kuamka inakuwa ni hard.
The language of music is very powerful, so it's important that you be careful what you listen to.
I do not believe that politicians have any spiritual legal standing.
When God spoke, I thought ni mimi na feel hivyo ati you're a lover of great music, then this is the place to be.
A woman out there who is trying to get into marriage.
Hii story ni ya biashara too and the workplace environment. But above all, we are bringing in the hand of God at the workplace.
If God has said you are a winner, you are a winner.
Young people want names, titles. We need to stop and start.
What word would you give to the young upcoming artist?
Look, the pastor, the leader must grow.
The Spirit of the Lord brings on board is the ability to instruct.
I believe God is going to speak to your life and your marriage is going to take a new course.
Elevate TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
Good marketing makes the company look smart. Great marketing makes the customer feel smart. Are you looking for a place to advertise your upcoming conference, church meeting, or ladies' meeting? Look no further. Elevate TV is offering you a chance to advertise from as low as 5,000 Kenyan shillings. Talk to us today. Call us on 0705 872237.
Welcome back. Just before we went on the break, we had an amazing discussion. Oh my goodness, it has brought hope, it has brought joy, it has really encouraged us, as in we now see God, you know, in this space, and we're like, as mothers, as women, as wives, there is so much hope in our God, and He is so merciful and so good. Our topic today is adoption, and we're talking to Pauline Wawira. She is just blessing our hearts, quite literally, and just spreading hope and joy. We want to know, we want to hear more about, did they ever adopt a child? Now that she has told us baby came, and we're like, what? So a biological baby has come.
Yes.
And now she was already thinking about adoption. Before she got married, and her husband as well, they were thinking about adopting a child once upon a time. So we want to finish that story and just get to know, did they ever adopt? Why did they still adopt? Did they, you know, and we'll answer those questions as we go. But in case you missed the first part of this wonderful episode, I'd like you to go on YouTube and just look for SISTA Talk and go on and listen and get all the inspiration you need. In case you need some hope, you know, God is just waiting on you. So thank you for joining us. Share with us, talk to us on our social media platforms at Elevate TV Kenya. We're so glad that you could make time to watch. Okay, Pauline, so now tell us. Baby has come.
Yes.
Hey, my goodness. Dream come true. Okay. For you guys, you're already, you know, you are at peace and at joy, in joy.
Peace and joy. Of course, I was very happy that, I remember when we conceived, my husband that very day praying and saying, God, keep the baby well, keep her.
Yeah.
She said, you're saying her. I said, but God already knows the desire of my heart. And then, like you remember, I said what he wanted. So it's interesting that God answered his prayer for our daughter. So yeah, so the baby came. So I remember the very first day I saw the baby when she was brought in hospital. I mean, when I was, because it was a CS. I remember just saying, oh God, I was overwhelmed by that. It's only God that can give someone a baby.
That's true.
I couldn't help look at her two legs, her two hands, and wonder, now these two hands and two legs and two, these camondos, it's only God who can give. And I just ask the Lord to forgive women who laugh at other women who don't have children. So that's where it went to. I mean, I had a bit of that experience of some people, but I really said, forgive them for they know not.
Yeah.
Because for me, it was like, this is precious. Only God can give.
That's true.
No form of medication.
So
By the way, even those who conceive through IVF, it is not IVF that gives them a baby. It will happen if God has intended. That's why some will do and it fails.
That's true.
Because it's not the time. So yeah, the baby came. It was a beautiful journey. So of course we thought we'd conceive immediately. You know, now when you ukiona muujiza, you now know umefunguliwa. So the doctor had said after 6 months we could actually have another baby. So we were like, oh, why not? Because
and you were said,
yes. I mean, why not? We were ready. But then a year again came by, another year. So when she got to 2.5 years, we said, oh no, we don't need to now wait anymore. Let's get into the adoption process. So the issue of adoption came back. And we decided, let's do it. So of course we figured, we went to the home first, the New Life home. We said we want to adopt a baby, and they said, no, this is not where you start at the agency. So we went to an adoption agency. Before we started that process, we visited both of our families.
Okay.
Yeah, so we told my husband's family and we told our family. And because the baby is ours, but we are born into families.
That's true.
I mean, what if we are not there one day?
That's true.
She needs to have a family. So we wanted to tell them, not to ask them. Now there's a difference, but to tell them this is what we want them to. We want to do, and of course they blessed us. We thank God that I mean, I probably know my mother more, so I knew maybe how she would react.
Yeah.
I was just married into this family.
Yeah.
I wasn't so sure, but
Yeah.
my husband said, no, they'll be fine. I mean, it's and then my mother-in-law was really happy. I remember her, she was praying that our daughter gets a sibling. And she said, if that's the way, then God wants to bring her sibling her way, then so be it. So that's how we began. And from there, actually, my husband took leave for a week so that we do all the paperwork, go for because they call you for interview, the agency and all that. So we were very keen. We put our mind to it and did everything. We were approved. And then now we were also approved we wanted a much younger baby, about 4 months.
Okay.
But there was none at that point who was ready for adoption.
Okay.
Because they have to let a child be ready. Probably no one has asked for them.
Okay.
So they had 1 year old. And I remember them, of course, asking whether we would be okay. Then we said, fine, that's fine, because we were ready anyway. We didn't know. It actually worked well because now it meant they don't have a big difference with our daughter.
True.
Yeah. So that's what happened. I remember we asked, praying and asking the Lord, so how will we know who the
Which
baby
baby,
is?
yes.
You know, when you're adopting, you tend to look for the kakuchi baby, you know, the cute little baby, because you're choosing.
Yeah.
But we were very keen on God's will.
Yes.
Which baby?
Yes.
And I remember God spoke to both of us, my husband and I, and said, don't be carnal. And okay. So he didn't want us to look at the
outside, yes.
We were not sure why.
Yes.
So now when we were asked to go, I remember when the 1 year olds came, our daughter had a growth. It was very conspicuous and it was red.
Okay.
And we looked at each other with my husband and said, this is the guy.
Oh my goodness.
Why would God tell us not to be carnal?
Carnal.
I mean, it was very clear.
Yeah.
Don't be carnal.
Yeah.
And we took her, walked to the office, and we said, we are done. We said, what do you mean? This is the baby we want.
Oh, you were supposed to choose between the two?
Yeah. Well, most of the time they match.
Okay.
But apparently, I don't want to say it is coincidence, but as we had that opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or they do the choosing for you.
They call it kind of matching.
Okay.
People have different experiences, but that was our experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Similar age?
Similar age.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we went and told them, they asked us, are you sure? Then we said, yeah, we are sure. So they, of course, took us to the nurse. We were told about her history, even the history of the growth. Because you're not told before.
Oh, yeah.
Because that means if you're told before, you'll stigmatize a child.
Okay.
We didn't know what it is, but that's the baby we wanted.
Wow.
And I remember my husband saying, what if it was our baby? This is it.
You wouldn't choose.
Like, I don't know what to tell you. We fell in love with her instant. You know the way I fell in love with my daughter instant?
The one you gave
You should have seen.
my
My husband was taking the baby. I take her from him. Then he takes her from me. No, let me hold. And so when we went we were told what it was, who the doctor who has been seeing her, about the growth, everything about her history, how she was,
got to the home,
home, and she was harshly abandoned. So no guardian known. So then so we started that journey. Now the hardest bit was going home without her, because you can't go home with her.
No,
you can't. You have to wait for like a month.
So wait. Help us.
Yes.
So you go to an agency.
Yes.
And then you go to the home.
So the agency approves you and everything. Then we said, we would like to adopt from New Life. Because
Or you choose the home.
You can choose.
Okay.
They can put you in, but because New Life is near us, we said, can we adopt from it? They said, that's fine, because it's an adoptive home.
Okay.
So now your papers are taken there. Then from there is when now you get the child.
Well understood.
But now you have to bond with the child for 1 month.
Okay.
So I cried, crying. How can we leave our baby? Now it's become our baby.
Your baby in one day.
This baby has been there for 1 year almost. And me, I'm like, how? So anyway, so we started the journey. Early morning, would go with my husband, give her breakfast with our daughter. We give her, my husband goes to work, leaves us there. We stay with her, play with her, give her lunch, put her to nap. I would take my baby home, the firstborn, leave her napping. I go back to the home. And then my husband would come in the evening to the home. So we'd shower her, would whatever. So we bonded. But it was very hard. I remember going and taking diapers the following day. These are the diapers that she wears. You know, ati sasa nimekula ni mimi mama yake.
Imagine.
It is so, adoption is divine.
Yeah, I think that's the word.
It's just another way of having a child. It's just that you don't carry, another person carries. We felt so privileged that God would allow us to experience that. You see, my husband really quotes from Ephesians, how God has adopted us into his family.
Yes.
And having worked with our daughter now for 8 years, we actually know if we can love her that much, how much more does God love us? He has adopted us to his family.
That is deep.
It's been, the day she came home, my goodness. No, I remember between her coming home, you're allowed a day to go with her to your doctor, to your family doctor, just for any inquiries, any more details you'd want. I remember we dashed with her in our home, just so that she feels she's in the house. Then now we had to take her back. That was really difficult. The connection happens immediately.
Wow.
Of course, we had been preparing our first daughter. She was very young, still 2.5, but we'd tell her, will you give this to your sister? So preparing her bed, her clothes with her. So for her to know the journey.
Yes.
I don't know what to say, but it's a journey we would go again with my husband. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm just listening to you and I'm wondering, I don't even have any other question about husband, because clearly he all along you were not convincing him. But maybe you give us from you're working with marriages and families and doing therapy. Do we have instances where one of the spouse, like the other spouse is persuaded and convinced and wants to adopt, but this other person is thinking, nah. Does it ever come together? Does it sometimes work? And what would help to just get both of you on the same page?
Apparently, first of all, you would not even be allowed to adopt if you're not both for it. They actually interview you separately.
Oh, really?
So that it's not like one is making the other want to do it.
Yes.
It would not even be fair to get a child through adoption when one of you is not for it, because the child will feel it. Children feel rejection even from the stomach.
That's true.
So imagine this child who is big enough. So we have such instances. What I've seen work in many couples is the couple who is for it is consistently praised for their others better half, because they have to be at one page. So maybe they shelve it and pray. So I remember we used to have some who were adopting around the same time. They had stayed for quite some years before having a child. And the one who never wanted adoption, after now getting the baby, later told us, we wish we did it earlier.
Oh, really?
But I always say, it is always the right time.
Yes.
So that was it. But you have to be very clear, because it's also good to know, why aren't they for it? Is it maybe the myths around adoption? I mean, we had people who categorically told us adopted children turn out badly. There are people who say, me, I can't adopt. And that should be respected,
Yes.
And for me, so if you are able to deal with all those things, because I mean, it's neither here or there. Even biological children, some turn
out even worse.
You go to jail. Are they your adopted children? We've had biological children kill their own parents. So it's it's something you can think about, but you need to have worked on it, because at times it's the fear of stigma.
That's true.
Because I must say,
That's
adoption is stigmatized.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So of course the other handle to move is, will you be comfortable telling your child? But like our daughter knows it. Actually, when I was coming here, I told her, Mommy, I'm going to speak about adoption. What should I say? She said, Mommy, you know everything about it. Tell them everything. That's what she told me.
She's that comfortable.
She knows her
At
journey.
what point did you tell her? When did you sit her down? Or did you sit her down in the first place?
I don't know when we told her. It has always been a conversation in our house. So we never sat her one day.
Okay.
So she grew, it just grew knowing. There's a photo when I was pregnant with our first daughter.
Okay.
And she knows she was not in my stomach.
Okay.
So she at times, of course, will say, I wish I was in your stomach. But it's okay. You chose me. You know? She gives her story so well.
Oh, really?
She knows that she was abandoned. She was 1 kilo. She says it. And she says, God, you know, God, the other day we were in a Bible study and we were being asked, what are you thankful for? And I had her say, I'm thankful that God gave me parents. And I was like, wow.
Don't make us cry.
I just felt, I was just like, but it's not like it's a topic we talk every day. But if it comes up, like she wants to say something,
it's not something you shy away from doing.
Yeah, like she'll just say something and say, no, that my other mother. Now, what does she... So one day she told me, oh, Mommy, did she have so many children? And because sharing is caring, she decided to share me with the world. You know, I asked her, so what did you think about that, you know? So she is very comfortable. I've had her being asked by her friend.
Okay.
You know, because her friend has probably had her parents talk about it.
Yeah.
Because we've allowed it. I mean, you can tell it. So I had them, it was an online something.
Yeah.
So are you... So and so Talisa, you're adopted. She said, yeah. In fact, you should have seen the expression. She didn't know I was listening. So where were you? She says, no, I was in Kibera. She said, and then I was picked. I was taken to Nairobi Women's. Then I was taken to New Life. And then, so the friend says, what? You are there? Yeah, we are there. Yes. So, and then my parents came and chose me.
I like that.
And then her friend was so quiet. So later I asked her, so I had you talking with your friend. What should say? Oh no, she was asking about my adoption journey.
Wow.
So what was it like for your friend? No, I think Mommy, she was so shocked because she kept quiet. So I changed the story. And I looked at her. Are you 8 years old? You know?
She sounds 20.
And you know, the thing is, we have to own our story.
Yes, we do.
That's her story.
Yes.
That's my story with my husband.
Yes.
We are adoptive parents. We are actually adoption advocates.
Yes.
We talk a lot with my husband about adoption, just to clear stigma, help other couples. We've worked with couples. Some have even adopted the second child and we are still working with them. So it's... We thank God for the privilege.
Amen.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, despite my 4, I could squeeze one more.
I know. Yeah,
you make it look like kids.
I need to say a disclaimer. Adoption is not for childless couples.
Yes.
You can, if you don't have a child, yes, you can have the opportunity to parent through adoption.
Yes.
But nobody should push a childless couple to adoption.
Yeah.
You adopt when you want to. Because even people with children can adopt.
Yes, that's true.
So it's not for childless couples.
Very clear.
It's just another way of having. But thank God that God has given that avenue that you can enjoy parenthood. Wow. And let me tell you, we have the experience of both.
Wow.
Of both.
Both, yes.
I am not emphasizing or there's no difference.
Wow.
If the difference is that she came through another mother.
Yes.
But it's us who have parented her. Wow. So you don't become a parent because you gave birth. You become a parent because you're parenting a child.
Wait.
We
just need to stop there. Wow. I must say, God truly bless you.
Thank you.
Because I think we have just looked at what only our wombs can carry, you know, and just focused on that. And that also makes us not very aware of the needs around us. You can imagine if your daughter never had that opportunity. We don't even want to imagine, And I just want you to speak your last words, but also your very encouraging words to a mother who feels you, You know who is wondering, do I not? Yes, they're on the same page with their husband, but there's fears, there's concerns. This is your last word. What would you want to tell them?
Yeah.
What would you want to encourage them with? Right.
Wow. So yeah, probably contemplating adoption and maybe the fears. Work on the fears. Maybe look for people who have walked the journey. Hear from them. And I always say this, it's only you that can allow stigma to put you down. If you want to go the journey of adoption, go adopt. Walk with God in the journey. Just like when you have a biological child, you need God to give you the manual to your child.
That's true.
So even this adopted child, God will give you a manual because it is his creation, you know. So yeah, so walk it. We've been there, we've loved the journey.
Amen. And glory to God.
Amen.
And regards to your family,
Thank
every
you.
girl in that home, and your husband.
Thank
He
you.
carries the crown. He carries the crown. So this has been Sister Talk. If you're not inspired, I am for you on your behalf. Thank you, Pauline, once again. I can't stop saying thank you. This has been Sister Talk. Today we were talking about the journey of an adoptive parent. Being an adoptive parent, what does that look like? Where do you go? And I think if you have listened like I have, you feel like this is something that can work. This is something beautiful. And may the Lord just minister to you. Maybe you're deciding, maybe you have thought about it. Maybe you're single, you even have no idea about when you're getting married, and it's something God has already put in your heart. Like she rightly said, let it not be something you will ignore. Maybe God is preparing you. Maybe he is looking forward to you rescuing a child, helping a child out. And so it's a blessing in all ways. Let's continue to open our hearts, open our homes for people to find life and meaning just like her daughter and many more have. So this has been Sister Talk. My name is Nenoh Ndiema. Our guest today was Pauline Wawira. It's such a pleasure to always have you, our viewer. Please speak to us, talk to us on our social media platforms at Elevate TV Kenya. It's a blessing to have you. May God truly bless you, bless your home, bless your going in and coming out and everything that you do. Thank you for watching and see you next time.
This evening we are coming to you from the heart of Kayole, and we are talking to one lady by the name Juliana Akoth of Smart Fashion.
Kila mtu alikuwa kivyake. Lakini tukarudi tukapatana kwa kikundi, tukajadiliana ya kwamba tukifanya kazi pamoja tunaweza endelea vizuri.
Kazi ya kushona. Uko na pesa?
Wamama wanapenda kung'ara kila wakati. Kwa hivyo ukitengeneza kitu mzuri atarudi tena na utaendelea kufanya kazi.
Let's get into the conversation and learn something from these wonderful ladies doing amazing stuff in the fashion industry.